Wednesday, August the 25th, and we're in the latter half of Isaiah chapter 49, and we picked it up yesterday with that gloomy 14th verse, God's people saying that God had forgotten them and abandoned them, and it led to a response on behalf of God using several images. One was the image of a mother not able to forget her children, and God had not forgotten us, and that we were engraved, our names were engraved on the palms of his hands. And then the section went on, which we didn't comment on yesterday, to the end of verse 21, to depict a childless woman suddenly surrounded by lots and lots of children. And it was a picture of God's plan, and that plan, of course, is the church. I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. So it's as though the prophet is looking now way into the future, and God building, drawing his people together. Well, we want to pick it up today at verse 22. If the first answer to the gloom and doom of God's people was to say, I haven't forgotten you, the second answer is to remind them that God's purpose will be triumphant. And you see that in verses 22 through 26. And again, this is a section about the church. Behold, I will lift up my hands to the nations and raise my signal to the peoples, and they shall bring your sons in their arms, and your daughters shall be carried on their shoulders. And that theme continues to the end of the chapter. And it's a picture about the growth of the church, God calling his people from north and south and east and west, from every tribe and tongue and people and nations. And I'm reminded of a sentence in Calvin's Institutes in Book 4, where he basically is dealing with the church, and he says in the opening sentence, and I'm paraphrasing, but you cannot have God as your father without having the church as your mother. The fundamental importance within the plan and scheme of Almighty God of the church. And as Isaiah is looking down the corridors of the future, right up until the return of Christ and beyond to the emergence of the new heavens and the new earth, what he sees is Christ gathering his church from every tribe, tongue, people, and nation. Pray for the church in Afghanistan today, as many of them in that underground church are facing death and torture, for sure, unless God miraculously intervenes. Pray for God's people, his church in Afghanistan today. Well, that's it for chapter 49. We'll start in chapter 50 tomorrow, but have a wonderful day.